7 lessons on 7 figures. That's the topic of today's video. So if you're curious, what are 7 lessons from a 7-figure business owner that can help you on your journey to growing to 7 figures, you're going to love this video. Wow, that was a mouthful. Hi, I'm Jessica Yarbrough, and I'm a top business strategist for coaches and consultants who, yes, want to scale to 7 figures using high-ticket services. If you follow my content, you know I talk about growing your coaching business from 6 to 7 figures. And so a lot of my videos cover offer and pricing strategy and marketing and positioning, lead gen and sales, and even systems to scale. And yet I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, now that you're a 7-figure business owner, what are some of the lessons that you would like to share? And I get that. The people who are curious out there, because there's so many coaches out there who are sharing tactics or strategies, but they don't really share insight on some of those lessons of what it takes to get to 7 figures. I actually plan on talking a lot more about this in upcoming videos, as I have so much to share on this topic, but let's start by diving into this first video on the subject today. Number 1 lesson, get strong in your no. The first lesson I want to share about growing a 7-figure business is that you're going to have to get really strong in your no. The busier you get, the less time you have for nonsense. And you're going to have to get really good at protecting your time. And this requires very strong boundaries. I think the best way to illustrate this example is by telling stories of some different boundaries that I put up when I first started my own business. So when I first started consulting, I used to run around San Diego, where I live, and meet in person with anyone that was interested in working with me. That would be my gas and my time, and sometimes they would still say no. It got to a point in my business where I had to set a strong boundary that I would no longer meet with someone unless they were a paying client. And this was a game changer early on when I was still stuck at the low 6 figures. And just so you know, this is important. Once you put up a boundary, you will be tested immediately to see if you're going to hold true to that boundary or not. I remember I was on a sales call with a prospect, and she had actually been referred to me by 2 different existing clients. We had a great call. And after the call, she sent me an email saying, hey, when you're back in the country, I'm going to drive down to San Diego and we'll meet up for coffee. And I want to pick your brain about a few more things before deciding. I happened to be traveling at the time, and I immediately sent her an email and said, I no longer meet with people who are not paying clients. And if you're ready to work together, here's the link to pay. Guess what? She paid. And when we met up, when I came back to San Diego, it was as a paying client. It's important to remember that once you put a boundary in place, it is up to you to hold it. And I promise people will respect you for it. Another boundary that I put up in my business is that I would no longer make myself available for those coffee chats. And listen, guys, if you're already making multiple 6 figures and you're trying to scale to 7 figures, I promise you, you do not have time to do all these coffee chats. And I personally am not interested in wasting time in these kind of networking types of calls. One of my values is I don't refer anyone to someone that I haven't personally worked with. So I don't like the energy of coffee chats or these strange kind of networking types of calls, and nor do I ever want to get on the phone with someone and allow them to pick my brain. My clients pay me a lot of money for my expertise, so you need to honor that boundary for yourself as well. One of my no's was I only get on the phone with those people who are interested in working with me, those who are paying clients, of course, or the media for PR opportunities. Again, to scale your business to 7 figures, you must protect your time and you must start saying no. The number 2 lesson is to own your schedule. Another key lesson to growing a 7-figure business is that you're going to have to take control of your schedule. Now, we already talked a little bit about this and learning to say no, but you can certainly go further into this process. In order to operate a 7-figure business, you're going to need time for strategy, for meetings, for coaching, even time to just be or to dream. This is very important for a 7-figure entrepreneur. So many clients come to me and they're completely overwhelmed in their schedule because they have not taken control of their time. You can either control your schedule or it will control you. And there are certainly things that you can do to help control your schedule. Time blocking is very effective for getting certain projects done. Having ongoing set meetings with your team is essential too. And eventually you can start to even delegate some of those meetings to an operations team member. Scheduling days off is also key. I know for me personally, I do not work on Fridays. And I also block an entire week off every month where I do not have calls with anyone, not clients or prospects or even my team. This allows me space to work on other aspects of the business. It allows me space to recharge, and it also allows me the space to dream rather than being on constant calls. Another way you can start to own your schedule is by having dedicated days and even times for certain activities. For example, in my business, I only coach on certain days. And this allows me to be fully focused in coaching mode versus letting people book whenever and trying to jump my brain from coaching to working on some other task. From a high performance standpoint and optimizing your brain power and your time, I have found that having dedicated coaching blocks is really helpful. It's the same thing with any other aspect of my business. So if you want to grow your business to 7 figures and you want to eliminate overwhelm and headaches and stress and step into more of a 7-figure high-performing business owner, then you absolutely need to take control of your schedule. Lesson number 3, the devil is in the details. One of the biggest lessons of becoming a 7-figure business owner is that the devil is in the details. The more you grow, the more complex your business will become. And this is true even if you have a much more simplified model, such as a high-ticket model like I do. It still means there are more moving parts when you're bigger, more things that can break, and greater demand for attention to detail. To give you an example of this in action, if I were to make just one change, right, to say something like a group call on the schedule, just shifting the time alone creates a domino effect in my business that could create hours and hours of work for my team. Because again, the bigger that you grow, the more moving parts that are there and the more connected things are going to be, and therefore it's going to be affected by any change. So you need to get really, really detail oriented and understand that when you make a change in business, here are all the other things that are going to be impacted that will need to be addressed as a result of that change. And this is a case of if you've never really experienced it, you don't realize it until you do. So you have to understand the details and document the details so that every time you get a great idea and say, oh, this is something easy that we're going to implement, you can truly first assess what it's going to change in the business and what it's going to demand of your team. It's actually pretty mind-blowing as you grow a business how interconnected everything becomes and how simple changes can again create hours and hours of work and touch so many other aspects of the business. Number 4, get organized with technology. Another essential lesson in becoming a 7-figure entrepreneur is to embrace technology and get super organized using it. This means things like using automation whenever possible. And this is true even when you are a coach or consultant in the service-based business. Wherever you can automate simple tasks, whenever you can do this, the easier it's going to be to ensure that you get things done and set you up for success to grow your business to 7 figures. I highly recommend embracing a project management tool in your business. You could use something like ClickUp or Asana or Trello or Airtable. You can find a project management app that works for you. But absolutely, you need to get your operations in order across departments, whether it's marketing or sales or client delivery, and using technology to help project manage so that things get done. Once you have a project management tool in place, you're going to operate much easier to ensure that what I call the mundane but necessary task of running your business are getting done. It will also help you to really understand what it's going to take to, say, roll out a new program, for example. Again, a problem is typically business owners have these big ideas, but they're not granular. So when it comes down to understanding what it takes to get it done. So that's why even launching something like a new program can seem, relatively simple, but when you start documenting all the details and every tiny detail of what needs to happen, it can become much more complicated than you thought. The beautiful thing about technology, and especially project management, is you can start to understand timelines and how each team member or outside contractor is going to help you get the project to complete faster. And this, of course, is essential to growing your business to 7 figures. Lesson number 5, up-level your self-care. Pivoting from just talking about the business into now taking care of yourself, up-leveling your self-care is absolutely key to growing a 7-figure business. Look, I have many colleagues who became successful 7-figure entrepreneurs. However, it cost them everything. Maybe they made 7 figures, but they gained 100 pounds, or they had a heart attack on the journey there. Look, it is not worth having a major health crisis just to make a lot of money. In fact, the more money that you make, the more emphasis you should put on your self-care. Becoming a 7-figure business owner will mean that you're going to have more stress. I mean, yes, you're going to make more money and you'll have a lifestyle change, yet you will have more responsibility and a new level of stress, right? There is, of course, stress that comes with making less money and struggling. There's also stress that comes with making more. And as you make 7 figures, it's important that you learn to manage that stress. I'm a big believer in self-care. This means, yes, getting adequate sleep. It means putting the right foods into my body. It means regular exercise and meditation. It means spending time in nature and taking high-grade supplements to support my nutrition and getting regular massages. This is my version of self-care. You have to find what works for you, but absolutely it should be some combination of a diet upgrade and exercise and meditation to keep you balanced. When you up-level your self-care, you're gonna feel better. And when you focus on self-care, you're gonna show up as a better leader in your life for your clients, for your team, and for your family. Lesson number 6, invest in the help you need sooner. The 6th lesson to growing your 7-figure business is to invest in the help you need sooner. I've been asked many, many times, if I could go back and change one thing in the past, what would it be? And I've always said I would have invested in help sooner. You see, my background is in marketing, so I put off hiring the next level coach that I needed. And when I finally made an investment, it changed everything. And I continue to invest in myself in so many different ways, pouring multiple 6 figures into my development. So many entrepreneurs are stuck in the 6 figures. And they go into this place of fear around investing, and this keeps them stuck for years. If you want to grow a 7-figure business, you must invest in the help to take you there. Hire an experienced coach that has taken other people where you want to go and offers the support you need to get there. Finally, lesson number 7, make time for the things that matter. The final lesson to growing a business to 7 figures is to make time for the things and the people that matter. Now, we've already talked so much about your schedule. We talked about you having a strong no and taking control of your calendar and, of course, making time for self-care. But there's also making time for the other things that are important to you. For myself and for most of my clients, family is everything. Remember how I shared I have colleagues who hit 7 and even 8 figures and it totally broke their health? Well, I know many others that hit those numbers because they were so focused on growing their business, but they neglected their relationships and it cost them big. They ended up getting divorced or destroying their relationship with their kids. Again, it's not worth it to grow your business at the expense of everything. You can absolutely grow your business to 7 figures and still have time for family and friends and hobby. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make some sacrifices. Of course, that is necessary at times to grow your business, but you can also scale sustainably, meaning you can grow at the pace you want and still allocate time for the things that are important to you, like going to your kids' sporting event, or volunteering at your local charity, or taking vacations, or being involved in your church or spiritual center. You are more than your work. And I promise you that when you make space for these other things in your life, you're gonna be so much more fulfilled. And I have personally found that when I'm in a really good space, like I'm taking time to recharge, spending time doing things I love and with people I love, even when I'm going on vacation, it has a direct positive effect on how much revenue I make. Working to work is a losing game. So make time for the things and the people that matter as you grow to 7 figures. This wraps up my video on 7 lessons for 7-figure business owners. I would love to hear, what was your biggest takeaway? If you could look at these 7 lessons, what are the top 1 or 2 you want to implement into your life and business right now? I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Until next time.